Welcome back to Devine and the Dog with, I guess this is my co-host Chase. I don't even really recognize you though without Rosie, the dog, and this haircut you have here.
Yeah,
Actually, me and shaved the beard, I honestly would have been like, I think you're in the wrong place.
You know what's crazy is I at least trimmed it. I called in outside contractors and had them come in and shape it for me.
That's nice.
Got to get fresh for Triple Crown season,
right? Getting ready for Derby time, I guess, is what you're doing. I like it.
I'll look good with this hair wearing my PJs watching the Kentucky Derby.
Absolutely. Yeah, you might as well. So it's been a little while since we've seen each other here. We're back now after a couple weeks off, and there's a lot of races going on. More importantly, maybe, I don't know, I had like 6 baby goats born in a week and a half. So that kept me busy. What have you been up to?
It's just been a whole comedy of errors. Had what felt like the flu like one week, and then someone managed to cut the fiber optic cable in my neighborhood. So I was without internet for 4 days right before the Arkansas Derby.
How did you live?
I watched a lot of daytime TV. I saw a lot of, just nighttime TV also. A lot of Entertainment Tonight and a lot of the Drew Barrymore show, which is a hidden gem. Great show.
Okay. That's good. I like that. You should add that to what's on TV next time. It's a good little hiatus that you had. I'm glad you're feeling better. Number one, glad you have internet so that we can do the show here. And how's Rosie? How's my girl?
She's good. She's gone through a transformation. Her head changed colors. She went from it being black when she was like real little to now it's just like I don't know, like a Reese's kind of peanut butter chocolatey kind of color.
I love Reese's peanut butter cups, but only if they're frozen though. That's the thing. You can't have them room temperature. I will fight you on that.
I can't afford to have all the broken teeth from being impatient, honestly.
No, you just, it's fine. You use your back teeth to really.
Yeah, just gotta kind of work it down.
Exactly. It's all in the strategy. Okay, well that's good. I like that. And we're fresh. We're ready to talk. I mean, there's a lot that happened last week as far as our lead up to the Kentucky Derby. It felt like a million races all happening pretty much the same time at Oakland Park for the Arkansas Derby, the Florida Derby, and of course the Jeff Ruby Stakes as well. So the Arkansas Derby, the filly Secret Oath, trained by the coach, Dwayne Lucas, tried to take on the boys. And actually, I thought she had a pretty good race, actually. I mean, she finished third.
I think considering for how wide she had to run for most of the race, that she actually, represented herself really well. I'm not sure if she ever would have won that race, but I think she represented herself very well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they didn't have the best start, and then she made that huge middle move and just kind of ran out of gas. But I actually thought she performed pretty well. So I did think Cyberknife was going to win the race. I was worried about that as far as, him kind of breaking our little fairy tale there with Secret Oath. But it was nice to see her at least hold her own against the boys. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see her, as long as she comes out of the Kentucky Oaks, which is the target, then in the Preakness, the second jewel of the Triple Crown, we'll see. Of course, that was won a couple of years ago by Swiss Skydiver, who was a filly.
So. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see them make that move. I did my classic thing of telling myself that I'm just going to go with who I think is the most logical winner in the Arkansas Derby, and then the few minutes before being like, "Ooh, what about this horse?" And then that horse finishes. I actually broke a streak for 3 years in a row. That horse had then finished fourth. However, it ran fifth this time. Still made the super high five.
Okay, there you go. You got to love that last minute, gut. You're like, no, it's fine,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to hit on a 17. No big deal.
I can name the horses that I've done it with previously. Combatant, Plainsman, Looking at Lee.
Okay. Yeah. So they really stuck in your memory there. Yeah. Scarred. I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So the Florida Derby won by White Abario, who won were you in the Holy Bowl? Or the race before that, the Fountain Youth Holy Bowl. I'm not looking at my passport.
I can't remember if he ran in the Fountain of Youth, but he won the Holy Bowl. And I mean,
he did win the Holy Bowl. He didn't run the Fountain Youth.
Yeah, I think people kind of forgot about this horse when it comes to like futures and things. And now he's kind of, people are just starting to remember that he's a pretty good racehorse.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love the fact that he did miss a couple days of training, so it wasn't the perfect lead up, which, you know, this is like Olympic athletes. Like every day has to go right as they have a very short amount of time to lead up to the Kentucky Derby and their prep races and everything. And he had a fever for a couple of days, missed a couple of days of training. And his trainer, Safi Joseph, who I'm a big fan of, I think he's a pretty cool character, was very, very humble and emotional in his interview, which you love to see across all sports, right?
Yeah, it made me have less spite for the man bun with that genuine emotional reaction.
See, I actually see you as a man bun kind of a guy. Is that you never had a man bun in your life? Are you sure?
No, I had very bad white guy dreadlocks, but I never had a man bun.
I mean, that could be worse though, honestly.
I won't argue that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love it. But if you haven't tuned in to Safi Joseph, which you'll see him now in the Kentucky Derby, hopefully, as long as they go, he's a younger guy. He moved here from Barbados. He's, you know, lives in Miami now, but he's like an island guy and he's just a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see him. I love the personalities that we have around some of these Derby horses. So I'm a big fan. And he's got a couple horses in the Wood Memorial, which we'll talk about later. That's coming up this weekend. So big fan, and congrats to White Barrio. So we did have one other race, and that was the Jeff Ruby Stakes.
The JSR squared.
The JSR squared, as you like to say. Yeah, Tiz the Bomb got the win. I mean, on paper, it didn't look like anybody was going to be able to beat him. And in the paddock, too, I was there, and I mean, he's just a monster of a horse. Like, physically, he was on his toes. He's just so well muscled and mature and everything. My issue is that he absolutely hates getting dirt kicked in his face. So unless he is like super fast, gets the best post position, gets out there in front and beats the other 19 horses and nobody can get near him, he doesn't get any dirt in his face, yes, maybe he can do okay in the Kentucky Derby. But this is a horse that they're trying to bring to like England to race on the grass in Royal Ascot. So I'm pretty doubtful of Tiz the Bomb, but it was a good race for him in the Jeff Ruby Stakes.
The performance in the JSR squared makes me think that he'd actually like the turf quite a bit. So,
well, he does. Yeah. I mean, he was the he was the unofficial winner by money in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf.
That's right.
Yeah. So he was beaten by Modern Games, but there was that whole debacle that day, which we don't even have any time to try to break that down because I still don't really know what happened.
Right.
So we're just going to skip that. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if he's able to get the job done. You know, these are young horses that got to perform well on dirt coming up here in the first Saturday in May. But we had a comment from Oscar Alejo, and he said, "Forbidden Kingdom, any thoughts?" Yes, we do have thoughts on him, and those are coming up at the end of the show. So in just a couple minutes, stay tuned. In the meantime, we got some other sports to talk about. A lot has happened in the past couple of weeks that we've been off. Mattress Mac nets 11.2 million after Kansas wins the national championship, rather. This is like the first time I feel like he's won one of these big bets. Oftentimes it's been a little disappointing.
When I read the article, they noted his cold streak that he's been going through. That he's wagered several $1 million and missed in a few.
Several.
What I like about it is shooters shoot. Like he put in a future for like $5.5 million, and then he Jimmy James it. It was so nice. He pressed it twice. He went back and doubled down right before. And yeah, I mean, if you don't know anything about Mattress Mac, what you should learn is that he's not really losing money on these. These are all hedges from different like promotions that he runs at his furniture stores. But still, it's got to feel sweet to hit that.
I love it. His connection to horse racing, of course, he was the owner of Run Happy, who won the Breeders' Cup Sprint, I believe. And yeah, so he's a character, and he does a lot for his community too. So big fan of Mattress Mac. But yeah, good to see him take on the money.
Won that bet on hay, oats, and water.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Besides that, celebrity news, we had the infamous Will Smith slap. Your opinion, sir?
Okay, why is the crying that Will Smith did on stage somehow more endearing than the crying that Chris Rock probably did by himself in a bathroom stall? You don't get slapped like that and not cry. Slappers can't be criers.
He took it like a champ, though. I mean, he did not react
at the waist in like a 90-degree angle after that. Like it was loaded up. It was a nice little shot he took.
That was a lot. It was, I mean, in Will Smith's defense, he says he didn't know about Jada's medical condition, but I mean, she had spoken about it in public like many, many times, and so
he doesn't follow her TikTok.
You do your research a little bit, I guess. I don't know if you do that on the fly. Like those kind of shows are so scripted. Like you rehearse this kind of stuff. And but in Chris Rock's defense, I mean, that was just barbaric by Will Smith. You can't do that. You got to maintain some professionalism here.
I think what's sad is I think that Will Smith actually thought that the joke was funny, and then Jada did not like that he thought that the joke was funny, and then he was like, "Oh no, what do I do now?" And he just panicked.
Yeah,
and threw hands at Chris Rock.
Yeah, I don't know. Still, it was a lot. You got to figure out a way to handle that a little bit better. It's not like he's like a 20-year-old kid. I mean, even that would be a lot, right? Like you're not a high school kid. You got to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's other more noble ways to defend your woman, I think.
Yeah, I just let my wife do the defending for herself, but mainly. I'm a very weak man. I wouldn't,
There you go. You're like, you got this, right?
Yeah.
Hiding behind her.
Yeah.
All right. So women's Final Four, we had South Carolina win, which they've been pretty good in the past couple of years. I think they've made the Sweet 16 every year since 2014 and won in 2017 against UConn, who holds the record for 11 national championships. I toured UConn when I was looking at colleges, and they had like one stadium on campus, and it was the women's basketball stadium. And they were like, yeah, other sports, but women's basketball.
Right.
They're so dominant. They're like, we don't believe in anything else. Like we might have it, but it's not really like a thing. But this is like our jam.
Yeah. I haven't watched a whole lot of the women's tournament, and it's not because like I think any less of women's basketball. It's because I don't like seeing teams that are superior just beat the snot out of everyone they play. But I'm more inclined to watch it now because you have so much parity with all these teams, with like Stanford and with South Carolina, what Dawn Staley's doing, UConn, Tennessee put together a pretty good team this year. Like there's some parity, there's some challenge now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it was exciting. Happy for them. Gotta love it when the underdog is able to come through. The Masters, our good friend Tiger coming back from injury, of course. I like it because we talk about like layoffs with horses, how long they haven't been back at the racetrack, right? Tiger Woods coming off a 508-day layoff from the Masters after his injury. So, I mean, kudos to him for even like playing on this field, right? And the fact that he was able to do that after an injury is some of those athletes there, like in our sport, Gary Stevens, the jockey who came back out of retirement a couple times, like out of some knee surgeries and stuff like that. Like these guys across all sports that are able to overcome those injuries, you got to respect it.
He and I have had a couple of the same back procedures, and so to me, the fact that he's able to get out and walk a course and swing a club is amazing. And that was before he nearly lost his leg. Like this is insane. What is Tiger made out of?
I don't know. He's the king of the jungle for sure. All right, enough about all those other big cats in sports. Let's talk horse racing.
That's right. We got 3 great Kentucky Derby preps this week, and we'll go ahead and get it started alphabetically with the Bluegrass going on at Keeneland. Keeneland, opening weekend. What do you think?
I love Keeneland. I love Keeneland opening weekend. I love Keeneland in general. It's just such a great track. If you haven't been, it's like so historic. It's beautiful. And then you've got the juxtaposition of like all the drunk college kids. It's just, it's a gem, truly. This weekend, there was a chance of snow for the start of the spring meet. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but it will be absolutely freezing. For this race, now, I really like Zandon in here for Chad Brown. I think he's sitting on a really big race. Flavien Prat is a great rider from California who's going to move his tack over to compete in the Kentucky circuit and then later in New York. So the fact that he's teaming up with a trainer like Chad Brown, I think is going to be really big. He has only won his first race, but he's finished a couple of really good seconds and thirds, and he had some trouble last time. He kind of hopped at the start of the gate there. But the other two horses you got to keep in mind are Smile Happy and Rattle and Roll for Kenny McPeak, both of which are super talented, but they just haven't been able to get back to the form that we saw last year. So I think I'm going to rely on the numbers for Zandon, but I'm keeping my eye on those two horses.
Okay. I went somewhere different for this race, and I went with the 6, Emmanuel for Todd Pletcher. 1-2 straight, broke its maiden, won an optional claimer, went into the Fountain of Youth, and this is the first time that the horse was actually ever kind of beaten to a lead. I kind of want to see what happens on what I feel like is a speed favoring track at Keeneland if Emmanuel breaks to the lead, and either no one goes with him or he just kind of outduels.
Yeah, he's going to have to beat Fenwick and Trademark as well, who seem to be doing their best running on the front end, but should be a good one. It's a purse of $1 million, so it is a pretty important race.
So now we're going to go out west because we're doing the alphabetical thing, right? So what's turned into a pretty short field for the Santa Anita Derby.
Yeah,
we've got what I believe 6 horses going. What are you thinking for this one?
All right, so I think I got to go with Forbidden Kingdom. There's a lot of good horses in there. A horse named Messier looks like he could be a serious contender, but I love the way that this Forbidden Kingdom horse has been developing. He seems like he's really kind of putting it all together. He seems really relaxed. I mean, I've talked about it before, I think on this show. It's just a lot of it is like the physical maturation of these horses. You want to make sure that they're strong, developed, their bones are developed, their muscles are developed, all of that. But mentally, these horses are so young and there's so much, the crowd is new and the other 19 horses in the starting gate and stuff. They have to be able to handle all of that. And I think he might be able to do it with his Hall of Fame trainer, Richard Mandela. So I'm going to go with Forbidden Kingdom.
What's the word that we use for this? Samesies.
Samesies. Yeah. Is that it? Okay, good. Yeah. I like it.
This is my Kentucky. This is my Kentucky Derby winner. I think this is the horse. I think Papa Mandela gets his horse home for his first Kentucky Derby win. Let me see. We had a quick question in the comments. Let me pull this up.
Okay.
See, one more question, if you happen to know, is Kentucky allowing all the races to be wagered on Derby Day? Past few years, all you can wager on is the Derby itself. I think, Oscar, this is going to depend on probably what state you're in and where you live. Like for me, I can bet on every single race through illegal horse racing ADW. I'm not sure with what you use, what the rules will be.
Yeah, depends on where you are for sure.
All right, so one more. It's a classic one. Secretariat ran in it. The Wood Memorial at Aqueduct. Go.
All right. The Wood from Aqueduct, my old stomping grounds there. I'm going to go with early voting for Chad Brown, who is undefeated so far. He's only had 2 races. Both of them are wins. He's coming off just a little bit of a little vacation. They gave him some time off, but Chad Brown just rules this track. And I think this has been a horse he's been really high on for a long time. So I am going to go with that. I thought about Mo Donegal, who is the one horse in here for Todd Pletcher, who is 2 for 4 in his lifetime, or you got to love the New York horse, the gangsta, right? We talked about this, the backstory, Morello for Steve Asmussen, who's also undefeated 3 for 3. But I do prefer the numbers on some of early voting's races. And I think we haven't seen the best of him yet. So I'm going to go with early voting.
We're in a samesies situation.
There you go.
Yet again, I really like early voting. I would probably put him, if for some reason Forbidden Kingdom doesn't make the gate at the Derby, this might be the horse that I bet on.
Really? Okay, you like him that much?
If he can repeat that break that he had in his last race, it's over. It's end of race.
Right. Yep. Yes, 100%. There you go. All right. So next weekend, we do have the Lexington at Keeneland. Now, these races that we talked about, the recaps from last week, and these races coming up are worth 100 points. So the horses that win have kind of a free ticket to the Kentucky Derby. The Lexington is kind of an interesting one. It's only worth 20 points or 50 points. Now I'm blanking, but there you go.
20 points the winner.
Yeah. So, it's not often that you see a lot of those horses, of course, win the Derby, but also make it in depending on what they've done before. But still one to watch for, and we'll talk about it next week. Other than that, I mean, this was a jam-packed show. We came out here guns blazing after our vacation.
That's right. We're refreshed, ready to roll.
All right.
We'll be even more readier next week.
Right? Hopefully no more baby goats for me. I'm done. It's a lot. All right. Next time I got to see Rosie, though. Otherwise, it was good to see you and your haircut, Chase. It's good.
Thank you.
I like it. I'll see you next week.
So fresh.
Bye.
Bye.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.